At this exact moment, you, me, and 5.3 billion other people have access to the internet. Each of us has the power to share whatever we think, whatever we do, whatever we eat, and as of lately, a lot of whatever we wear. Every time we do it, large or small, we influence how others perceive the world. What they buy, what they wear, what gets made, what gets forgotten.
And spoiler alert, this is a huge problem.
But more on that later. We can influence each other so much that a new profession you might have heard of was born a few years ago. Influencers.
People say a lot of mean stuff about influencers.
For the generation of wastrels who want to be paid for posting photographs of their lunch.
Who the fuck are you inspiring? That's what I want to know, right?
Well, we think this is total crap. People on social media have access to the single most important ingredient to make any positive change in the world. People's attention. In a way, the better our influence is, the more chances we have of fixing the world's biggest problems.
Especially in fashion.
So, in the interest of, well, all of us, we had an idea. Change your feed, change the world.
In the next few minutes, I'll tell you why we have a giant problem with fast fashion, but also how we're gonna fix it, whether you have 100 million followers or just 100. Ready?
Here's the problem in a nutshell. Too much stuff, too much speed, too much waste. The fast fashion industry makes over 100 billion new items a year, including 23 billion pairs of shoes. In order to produce all of this stuff for super cheap prices,
Fast fashion brands often don't pay living wages.
and use lower quality materials. About 70% of the fibers used in clothes are synthetic, meaning 7 out of 10 clothing items are actually made from plastics. And just like plastic bottles, plastic clothes take hundreds of years to break down, polluting the environment in the process.
The issue's simple. We're producing beyond our true needs.
Despite all of the environmental concerns we hear on a daily basis, production is expected to grow by 60% by 2030.
And all the damage caused by fast fashion is already out there for us to see.
Ecosystems are filled with textile waste.
And microplastics are just everywhere.
Even inside our own bodies. Now, a major part of the issue is how fast we produce all of this stuff.
Fast fashion companies run on a very simple idea. The more they make, the cheaper it is. The cheaper it is, the more they sell. The more they sell, the more they profit.
But since people don't need endless clothes, well, how do they keep us buying?
Equally as simple, but making us feel like we do. That's why we went from having 2 seasons a year to 52. That means new clothes every week. Some see this as a win, but as we buy more for less, the value of each piece actually shrinks, literally fueling an environmental disaster.
This model is responsible for more CO2 emissions than the entire airline industry and creates 92 million tons of textile waste every year. We currently have enough clothes to dress every human on the planet until 2100, but we throw most of it away after just a few wears, turning precious ecosystems into this.
How the hell did we get to this?
Truth is, the unsustainability of fast fashion models is not the result of a mistake in the system.
It is the actual system.
And it all started at the court of King Louis XIV in 1678.
Imagine waking up on a cold January morning, opening up the Instagram of the time, a magazine called Le Mercure Galant, and finding out that what you're wearing is suddenly out of style. From then on, at least twice a year, new style guides would tell people how to dress. These 2 moments became known as spring-summer and autumn-winter, marking the start of fashion seasons
And planned obsolescence.
Fast forward a few hundred years, and this idea got supercharged.
First, the Industrial Revolution ramped up factory production, exploiting millions to keep up. Then, about 100 years ago, humans invented synthetic materials, making clothes cheaper and cheaper. And finally, in the second half of the 20th century, modern marketing took it to a whole new level.
But I'll let Caroline Mayer, a leading psychologist in the field, explain this one to you.
A Okay, so marketing is about selling things, selling stuff. What they do to get us to buy more is they tap into our desire for novelty. We habituate very quickly. We get used to things. And this is why the fashion industry is the multi-billion-dollar industry that it is, because we tire of things. We want novelty. I always use this example. The first bite of chocolate is amazing. The seventh, you're kind of done with it. But the thing that marketing, I believe, gets wrong is this idea that more is better.
But if more isn't better, why do we buy more?
Fashion enables us to have a sense of belonging to a particular social group. Psychologically healthy people want to be the best they can. They want to have friends, they want to fit in. And the fashion industry, they know this and they play on our insecurities. How can we make people feel that by buying this product, they're going to feel better about themselves? The problem, I believe, is that we're in such an appearance-based society. Everything is around appearance. And social media, in the last decade, maybe less than a decade, has changed enormously people's self-perceptions, self-insecurities, and feelings of inadequacy that marketing plays into. I'm not saying for a moment that appearance doesn't matter. We want to look our best. We want to be our best, but that doesn't mean changing how we look every second.
Our emotions and vulnerabilities, the pleasure fashion can provide to all of us, have been exploited to turn us into mindless hyper-consumers. But it doesn't have to be this way. If we can fashion better habits through our voice, well, this is the time to use this power. Because despite all, there's still a lot of beauty in this world worth fighting for. And it all starts from knowing how we've been tricked.
Introducing the 5 ways fast fashion companies trick our brains.
Number 1, newness, and more newness. We get excited about fresh content, but it can also be tiring and addictive. The urge to consume increases when we know we can buy new things at a bargain. Brands flood our feeds with ads for new drops every week to distract us, make us forget what we already own, and push us to buy more. But the pleasure is short-lived. It often leaves us feeling empty. Don't you ever feel the need of a break from all this noise? Number 2, price anchoring. Sometimes brands set a high price as an anchor to make their desired price seem like a great deal. Number 3, illusion of scarcity. Brands make us think they only have a few items available to push us to buy what we see right away. Want to test if something is really running out? Ask the brand how many limited editions items they actually produce. A simple question can actually reveal a lot. Number 4, very low prices. Have you ever been tempted by a bargain only to end up buying something more expensive or more than you needed? Low prices pull us in, but they can lead us to spend more on clothes we don't actually need. And number 5, greenwashing. As we become more aware of environmental issues, many brands try to trick us into thinking that buying their products makes the world better.
And identifying bullshit is step number 1 in our journey. So, let's play a game, shall we? Let's see how these greenwashing messages actually work in real life. So, ladies and gentlemen, the quiz show of our time, please welcome Sustainable Shit versus Sustainable, the first TV show dedicated to understanding whether you are supporting bullshit or actually something that is able to support life. So, please welcome our first 2 contestants, Cecilia and Giovanni. So, question number 1. This t-shirt is sustainable because it contains recycled materials.
Bullshit.
Correct! As a matter of fact, if a brand doesn't share how much of a product is recycled or what it recycles, it's pretty much impossible to know if it's truly sustainable. Next question. Buying clothes made of responsible materials prevents them from causing harm in countries like Ghana. Bullshit. Correct again! Oh my gosh, the material, as a matter of fact, does not impede its ending waste streams. Congrats. Last question. vegan shoes made of plastic can still cause harm to animals and living beings. True. Well, we have some pros here. Because the answer is correct! Congrats! Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you for watching. Back to the studio now.
We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to buy more, all under the false promise of being green. And often, this goes against what's really best for us. The good news is that change is on the way from lawmakers. Soon, we might see new regulations in Europe and the United States that will make it illegal to trick customers into buying more fast fashion with false or misleading claims. But while change is definitely happening, we need to speak up to speed it along.
So, we got a proposal. At the beginning of this video, we promised you we had a solution to all of this, and the solution is actually you. Well, not just you, but all of us. With each of our influences, we can change how everyone around us relates to fashion. By educating ourselves, we can educate others. And by changing our own behavior, we can change other people's too. To get this all started, we'd like to challenge you to do something incredibly brave.
This polo shirt, when I bought it, I thought I could pull it off. I can't. I wasn't cool. Never wore it.
Go on social media and share your own personal story about a time you bought something you never ended up wearing.
A mini dress. A glitter mini dress. It's been hanging here ever since.
And use the hashtag #SkeletonsInMyCloset.
I've never worn it, not even once.
Also, at the link in the description, you can find a bunch of tips and solutions to improve your impact and help your own community develop a healthier relationship with fashion, like buying pre-loved clothes or repairing them instead of buying new ones.
There's life in what we wear. And maybe if enough of us remember that, the idea that hyper-consuming fast fashion is the only way to enjoy fashion will be the next big thing to go to waste.